Fellas, welcome back to Men's Power Connect, where our mission is to equip, engage, and empower men in life and leadership. In the previous episode of the Conducting Stage Part 3, Carlos, Myron, and Osei discussed which conducting definition best suited their style of fathering well in the conducting stage. Now, in this episode, they will discuss their greatest challenges in this stage. Stay locked in because you don't want to miss this episode of MPC.
So I got a question, and we'll kind of jump into a few. So again, continue to like, subscribe, and stay tuned in to this content. So what would you guys say is probably the most challenging stage of the most challenging part of parenting in this particular stage in our current culture? I know my answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get mine.
Go ahead, because you're excited about it.
I am.
Giving your answer.
So I would say,
please.
But you know, you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. I would say the biggest challenge is really the different age that we live in with the technology that we have. And so when you think about play for kids, and I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to this in your streets and your neighborhoods. If you were growing up in the 80s, 90s, anytime before then, when you got off the bus, it was 5, 10 kids, or you're walking home or whatever. There were no cell phones, tablets, smartwatches, or any of that stuff. So we had a lot of conversation. We talked about school. We talked about what you doing. Yeah. Come to my house. Hey, I'm going to go to your house. Let's go play football. Let's go play basketball. Girls going double dutch. They going hopscotch. Whatever they were going to do. And that is such a critical aspect to the development of kids, right? Mm-hmm. The ability to learn through play, learn through those experiences. And now when you ride through the neighborhoods, ain't no kids outside.
Yeah.
Like the kids out there, I was like, did the kids get raptured or something? Because ain't no kids outside, right? Yeah. But they're all in front of screens for the most part, right? Every now and then you see some kids outside, but it's not as common as it used to be, right? And so I know that's something that I'm sure a lot of parents are really struggling with. How do we balance giving them technology, allowing them to utilize technology with too much technology? Mm-hmm. And I know that's something my wife and we have. I mean, it feel like WWE sometimes around the house with the kids and them wanting to, I want to watch this. You've been on the phone for X time. You're good. No more phone for the day. No more TV. Take a break. Take a pause. Come out of the virtual world is the term that I use with my kids. Like, come back to reality and get out of that virtual world, because there's no pause. There's no rewind. You can't do it again in the virtual world. So just that aspect of it. I know for parents, I know that has been a challenge for us, and I'm sure it's a challenge for a lot of other parents out there as well.
No, that's good, man. You hit the nail on the head. I think for me, I would say the leadership part. I would say the leadership part. Yeah. And the only reason why I say that is because we've got a lot going on in my household. Yeah. In a good way. Yep. Right. But sometimes I feel like I kind of miss the mark, from time to time. I try to make sure that I exemplify that leadership aspect as much as I possibly can. Yeah. Whether it be things around the house, just with, making sure that things are clean, good, making sure that just the basic things. I try
you want to make sure things are clean.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Well, just doing the basic, like
cleaning up.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Right.
And then
you forgot.
You got 4 kids.
Four
right.
kids.
So you got a lot
of activity going on.
You have a lot going on in your home. So especially when you have 7-year-olds, twins.
Right.
You got 10-year-olds. Homework, extracurricular activities.
Something going on.
Always.
Right? Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah. He's still in that stepping on cars and stepping on blocks.
Dude.
Not blocks, but cars.
The cars and
that
books
kind of stuff.
and
always a stumbling.
Games.
Yeah.
Game consoles, things like that. I got it.
Correct. Yeah. So with that being said, trying to make sure that I'm intentional with my leadership. sometimes gets put on the back burner
Gotcha.
because everything is just so busy.
Because of other activity.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Everything right now is surrounding around the children. And my wife and I are trying to do a better job as far as being intentional with her and I and just our own personal self-care.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the 4 of them, it's really hard to show that leadership in ways, in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say that's probably one of the things that is something that I need to, I don't know what that would look like yet. I'm still kind of working through that.
Sure.
But I think that's something that I would need to spend a little bit more time in as far as how I would kind of exemplify that leadership in my family.
That's good.
I'm probably reflecting more just because I don't have children anymore in that stage. But if I had to look at what I see that's happening, that's going on, is that there's so many competing priorities right now.
Okay.
With men, that they've got to make the money, they got to make sure they're showing up for their wives, they got to make sure that they're battling through their careers, and they're spending a lot of time with that, and they may not have been educated on the best way to father, or they may not have experienced what true love looks like from a father's perspective because they may not have ever had it.
Yeah.
And so when you don't have that level of cognizance regarding how to parent well as a father, you may default to, I'm just going to be the provider.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the money. And then I'm going to put some expectations on my children that may be unrealistic. So I've got to be the best at the best of the best. My child does.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure that they have everything that they need in the way of their equipment, and I'm going to get them private coaching. I'm going to do all of that. Really, when the child is just saying, I just want to be with my dad.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out. I just want to go to the park. I just want to be 7. I just want to be 9.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want that level of expectation always driving. And it's great that you're providing. It's great that you're making the money, because you have to do that as a father, as a dad. But when can the world just stop and it's just me and you, Dad? It's just us, whether it's in the morning making breakfast on Saturday morning, with no expectation that, well, hurry up and eat your breakfast because you got a private lesson or you got your team that we've got to go, and we got to make sure that we get there in plenty of time. Right. And I'm going to make sure that you get a lot of playing time this time. It's not that.
Yeah.
Or after church, we're just hanging out. And we're not regulated by so many other external priorities that take on. And so then I'm so tired at this point. Yeah, just get in your game, because that gives me my escape. Because I don't have to show up at that point because you're on your game, you're with your friends, all of that. And so I can just kind of do whatever I want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so just looking at how can we allow the quality time to take priority with just spending time with them.
And I think that's a great point that you hit on, because when we talk about the challenge of the technology, it's not just the kids.
It's not just the kids.
Right? Because for the adults, some of us as adults, our screen time consumption is greater than the kids.
Yeah.
And, to your point, we use that often as an escape, or even as the babysitter, right? We've heard that term been kicked around. Where it's like, hey, I need about 2 hours. Here's the iPad. Go and be on the iPad for 2 hours. But to your point, but everything else all this week has been, we got to run this, When are we taking that quality time together, which is really key. And I think, and this kind of leads into the next question I was going to ask, but for the kids, when there's always this constant going, when there's this constant pressure that they're experiencing, and then when they want that quality time, we're saying, go have your technology because I need a break, right? I need some time. That starts to then impact their mental well-being.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of MPC on the conducting stage. Next episode, we'll dive right into how we can safeguard our children's mental wellness and provide resources and material that will further support you in the conducting stage. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on YouTube or follow us on all social media platforms. And as always, don't forget to go out and encourage another brother.